Hi there, everybody! Vamos continuar. Olha só, se eu falo, né? If I speak, I understand. Não é? Se eu falo, eu entendo, right? Tudo bem que tem, às vezes a gente consegue falar melhor do que entender, às vezes a gente consegue entender melhor do que falar. Isso acontece, mas é uma questão de mais prática. Umas coisas precisam de mais prática do que outras, alright? Mas vamos praticar então o verbo oposto de falar. Eu falo, também tem eu escuto, mas nesse caso eu falo uma língua, eu entendo uma língua, right? Então o verbo entender is to understand. Vamos lá, vamos repeat. To understand. Again, to understand. Perfect. One more time. To understand. Entender, right? Vamos conjugar então no presente. Present tense. I understand. You understand. He understands. Olha, third person singular, regular S. She understands. It understands. We understand. You understand. They understand. All right. Então, this is the affirmative. I understand, he understands, and etc. Right? Negative. I don't understand. He doesn't understand. Interrogative. Do I understand? Does he understand? And the answer, yes, I do. No, he doesn't. Yes, we do. No, they don't. Right? E para todas as pessoas é o mesmo esquema. Ok? Perfect. Então, olha só. Bob understands English. Right? Bob understands English. Vamos lá, repeat. Bob understands English. Perfect. And Portuguese. Bob understands Portuguese too. All right. Bob understands English and Portuguese. Perfect. And moral. Mauro understands English and Portuguese, or Portuguese and English. All right. And Peter. Peter understands Portuguese and English. All right. And Bob, Mauro, and Peter. They perfect. They understand. They, right? No S. They understand Portuguese and English. Perfect. And Alan. Alan understands French and Italian. Perfect. And Anthony. Anthony understands Italian and English. Perfect. And George. George understands Greek and French. Perfect. And Mary. Mary understands German and Spanish. And Tony. Tony understands German and English. And Jose. Jose understands Spanish and Greek. Perfect. And Sally. Sally understands Korean and English. And Chang understands Chinese and French. And Lily understands Japanese and English. Perfect, perfect. Does Morrow understand English? Yes, he does. Does Peter understand English? Yes, he does. Does Alan understand Italian? Yes, he does. Do Bob, Morrow, and Peter understand English? Yes, they do. All right. Does Anthony understand English? Yes, he does. Does George understand Italian? No, he doesn't. What languages does George understand? He understands Greek and French. Perfect. And Mary, does Mary understand French? No, she doesn't. What languages does Mary understand? She understands German and Spanish. Perfect. What languages does Tony understand? He understands German and Spanish. All right. What languages does Jose understand? He understands Spanish and Greek. What languages does Sally understand? She understands Korean and English. Perfect. Does Chang understand Chinese and French? Yes, he does. How many languages does Lily understand? She understands two languages. Perfect. What languages does she understand? She understands Japanese and English. Perfect. Who understands Portuguese? Bob, Morrow, and Peter do. Olha a resposta, short answer, right? Bob, Morrow, and Peter do. Long answer, who understands Portuguese? Perfect. Bob, Morrow, and Peter understand Portuguese. All right. Who understands English? Anthony, Morrow, and Peter do. And Bob, right. And Tony, right. And Sally and Lily. All right. Who understands French? George, Alan, and Chang do. Who understands Spanish? Mary and Jose do, right? Who understands German? Mary and Tony do. All right. Who understands Italian? Alan and Anthony do. Perfect. Who understands Greek? George and Jose do. Perfect. Perfect. How many languages does Alan speak? He speaks two languages. What languages does he speak? He speaks French and Italian. How many languages do Bob and Mauro understand? They understand two languages. What languages do they understand? They understand English and Portuguese. Perfect. What languages does George understand? He understands Greek and French. Perfect. What languages does Jose understand? He understands Spanish and Greek. All right. What languages do Mauro and Peter understand? They understand Portuguese and English. All right. How many languages do Chang and Lily understand? They understand two languages. Perfect, perfect. Agora olha só, um diálogozinho curto. Does Bob understand English? Essa é a pergunta que eu vou fazer. E vocês vão responder. Of course he does. É claro que ele entende. Of course he does. He is American. All right? Does Bob understand English? Perfect. Of course he does. He's American. É claro que ele entende. He's American. Ele é americano, right? Does Peter understand Portuguese? Of course he does. He's Portuguese. Perfect. Does Alan understand French? Of course he does. He's French. Perfect. Does Anthony understand Italian? Of course he does. He's Italian. Do Bob and Mauro understand Portuguese? Of course they do, right? Of course they do. Eles, né? Of course they do. They are Brazilian. Né? O Bob também, porque ele é neto do Mauro, right? They are Brazilians. Perfect. Does Mary understand German? Of course she does. She is German. Perfect. Agora vamos falar do país. Of course he does. He is from, Bob, he's from the USA. Em vez de falar da nacionalidade, falamos do país. Does Bob understand English? Of course he does. He is from the USA, right? Então vamos lá. Does Bob understand English? Of course he does. He is from the USA. Does Mauro understand Portuguese? Of course he does. He is from Brazil. Perfect. Does Peter understand Portuguese? Of course he does. He's from Portugal. Does Alan understand French? Of course he does. He is from France. Does Mary understand German? Of course she does. She is from Germany. Perfect. Does Sally understand Korean? Of course she does. She is from Korea. Perfect. Does Jose understand Spanish? Of course he does. He's from Spain. All right. Vocês estão lembrando, né, que the USA, a gente coloca o artigo na frente, mas Brazil não, né? He's from the USA, he is from Brazil. Não tem the, né? Muito bem. Perfect. Does Tony understand German? Of course he does. He's from Austria. Perfect. Does Chang understand Chinese? Of course he does. He is from China. All right. Agora, para a gente brincar com o vocabulário, vamos falar na negativa. Does Bob understand Chinese? Aí o que você me diz na negativa? Of course he doesn't. Aham. É claro que ele não, né? Of course he doesn't. Estão lembrados, né? I do, I don't. Esse do é o auxiliar, né? Para a resposta. Yes, I do. No, I don't. Yes, he does. No, he doesn't. So, does Bob understand Chinese? Of course he doesn't. He is not from China. Aí a gente coloca tudo na negativa. Do you understand Chinese? Of course I don't. I'm not from China. Does Bob understand Chinese? Of course he doesn't. He is not from China. Lógico que ele pode ter aprendido, sem dúvida, mas vamos praticar agora como se ele não tivesse aprendido, tá? All right. Does Peter speak Greek? Of course he doesn't. He isn't from Greece. Perfect. Does Tony speak French? Of course he doesn't. He isn't from France. Do Bob and Mauro speak German? Of course they don't. They are not from Germany. Perfect. Atenção. Attention. Quando a gente está falando of course, é claro, né? Of course, claro. Lógico que nesse caso a gente não pode dar uma resposta com of course, porque a pessoa pode ter aprendido o idioma, né? Pode ter aprendido o idioma e fala e understand. Então, o of course não cabe nessa resposta, né? Porque o of course é o lógico, é claro, uma coisa lógica. Se he is from the USA, does he understand English? Of course. É lógico que ele entende o inglês. Agora, does he understand German? Of course he doesn't. Não, aí não pode, né? Nós estamos praticando só para usar a estrutura, mas eu não posso dizer, é claro que ele não entende. Ué, e se ele aprendeu? Right? Se ele aprendeu o idioma, o outro idioma. Então, o of course não caberia nesse caso, mas nós estamos usando só para praticar. Alright? Muito bem. Does Peter understand Portuguese? Of course he does. He is from Portugal. Perfect. Do you understand Portuguese? All right, of course I do. I'm from Brazil. Perfect. Very good. Very good. Era isso aí que a gente ia praticar com esse verbo novo, understand. Alright? Então, capricha aí. Assiste de novo, repete as perguntas e respostas, aquela história de sempre. E depois volta para a gente continuar. See you later, everybody!